Hello, today we will recap a horror thriller movie from 2019, titled The Platform. Spoilers ahead, watch out and enjoy. The movie begins with a busy setting. Here we see food being prepared and an older man supervising all the tasks. Goreng wakes up in a concrete cell with a number 48 on its wall in the vertical self-management center prison. There's only a bed and a washbasin for him to use, as well as a hole in the middle of the floor called a pit by his cellmate Trimagasi. There are hundreds of floors like theirs, each with 2 prisoners who use fake names assigned by management. The elderly man informs him that it is the first of the month. He explains that they will eat whatever was left over from levels 1 to 47. Every day, food is lowered through the hole on a platform, and you have 2 minutes to eat as much as you can before it moves to a lower floor. The lower you are, the less likely you are to grab anything. Each month, prisoners are shuffled and assigned to different floors. When Goreng first sees the platform, he decides not to eat because he isn't hungry and would rather leave food for the lower levels. Trimagasi spits on the table after eating as much as he can, knowing that the people above probably do the same. Goreng decides to keep an apple for later, but the cell becomes extremely hot after the platform leaves. It turns out that storing food is illegal, so Goreng needs to get rid of the apple or they will be burned to death. This reminds Goreng of the interview he had before entering the facility, where he had to sign a paper accepting the fact that he won't be able to leave until the agreed-upon period was up. Every prisoner is allowed to bring 1 item, and Goreng chose to bring a book. Goreng came here voluntarily to give up his smoking habit. He'll be here for 6 months in exchange for an accredited diploma. When the platform arrives the next day, Goreng refuses to eat again, and Trimagasi believes floor 48 is not for Goreng. Trimagasi tells Goreng about his story, which began with a television commercial. He purchased an exceptional knife after seeing it on television, but only a few days later, they released a new ad promoting an even better knife. This enraged him to the point where he took the television and threw it out the window, killing a passerby. Trimagasi was given the option of a psychiatric hospital or the hole, and he chose the latter. He's had been as low as 132, so he knows there are more floors than that because he can see them below. People receive no food at all on lower floors. Goreng is terrified of this possibility and attempts to approach the people on the other floors to request that they ration their food, but he is ignored. Trimagasi reveals that the knife he purchased from the television is the item he chose to bring with him. Goreng finally begins to eat the next time the platform passes by. He also sees a person from the upper levels fall through the hole, and Trimagasi says this is very common but no one does anything about it. Trimagasi tells Goreng about all the floors he's visited and mentions that they'll be together again next month. Goreng realizes that when cellmates are shuffled, they are kept together, which means Trimagasi ate his previous cellmate when he was on the lower floors. When the platform appears again, a strange girl named Miharu is sitting on it. Goreng is concerned about her because he notices she is injured, but Trimagasi advises him to ignore her. He informs him that Miharu visits the hole once a month to search for her missing child. When the platform advances to the next level, the prisoners try to take advantage of Miharu. Goreng yells at them to leave her alone. Suddenly, they hear men screaming. Miharu just kills them and returns to the platform. When the month reaches its end, the inmates are put to sleep with gas and shuffled around. When Goreng awakens, he is bound to his bed on floor 171. Trimagasi explains that he tied Goreng up because Goreng is younger and stronger than Trimagasi, and Trimagasi needs to protect himself. He also tells him that if necessary, he will eat him. After 8 days, Trimagasi announces it's finally time for him to get some food. He uses his knife to cut some meat from Goreng's thigh, but the platform arrives, bringing Miharu with it. Miharu recalls Goreng's concern for her and jumps on Trimagasi, attacking him with his own knife. She then releases Goreng and hands him the knife so he can finish Trimagasi off. Miharu has bandaged his leg with a piece of bedsheet, and she's now eating Trimagasi. She offers Goreng some meat, which he accepts after some hesitation. She then exits the level without saying anything. After a few days, Goreng begins hallucinating, seeing Trimagasi's ghost judge him while he eats. Gas takes over the cell at the end of the month, and Goreng dreams of being with Miharu. When he wakes up, he realizes the person licking him is a dog. Goreng's new cellmate is Imogiri, the woman who interviewed him when he volunteered to enter this prison. She chose to bring the dog with her, and they are now on level 33. In the present, Imogiri explains she volunteered as Goreng did, and that she didn't know people died here. As far as she knows, there are 200 levels, and when Goreng explains that there isn't enough food for everyone here, Imogiri points out that the amount of food would be sufficient if people only ate what they needed. Imogiri only eats what she needs when the platform brings them food, and after giving some to her dog, she begins preparing 2 rations of food. When the platform reaches the lower level, Imogiri attempts to convince the prisoners to eat the rations she prepared, and to prepare 2 more for the next level in order to pass on the message. Obviously, she is completely ignored. Imogiri does not give up and continues to try to ration the food every day, but she is ignored by the lower levels. 2 weeks later, Goreng has had enough of her yelling and informs the people that if they do not follow Imogiri's instructions, he will relieve himself on the food every day and they will have to eat poop. The threat is successful, and the prisoners begin relaying messages to lower levels. Sometime later, the platform comes down with an unconscious Miharu on it. While the dog steals some food, Goreng and Imogiri place her on a bed. When the platform leaves, the cell becomes extremely cold, and Goreng must chase the dog in order to get back the food he stole. In the evening, Goreng gives Miharu his bed and sleeps on the floor, only to wake up to find the girls fighting. It turns out Miharu killed the dog to eat him. Miharu leaves for the platform the following day. Goreng informs Imogiri of Miharu's search for her child, but Imogiri explains that Miharu arrived alone 10 months ago. She was an actress with no family. She sent people down here without knowing how serious the situation was, and Miharu has been battling cancer for 3 years. Goreng tries to force Imogiri to eat something on their final day on floor 33, because they may not have food tomorrow, but Imogiri is too depressed to leave the bed. The next morning, Goreng awakens to find himself on floor 202, indicating that there are more levels than Imogiri was aware of. Such revelation was too much for Imogiri to bear, and she ended things for herself by using her bed sheets. Trimagasi's hallucination reappears at that point, wondering if Goreng will eat his new friend. This time he's accompanied by Imogiri and her dog, who insist on eating her body. Goreng tries to ignore their constant chattering by distracting himself with other activities. He tricks his stomach by eating pages of his book, and he uses a plate shard to begin counting the days on the wall. However, the hunger eventually becomes too much for Goreng, and he begins feeding on Imogiri while Trimagasi guides him on where to cut. The next shuffle arrives, and Goreng feels happy to find himself on floor 6. Baharat, Goreng's new cellmate, chose a rope as his chosen item. Trimagasi and Imogiri's hallucinations reappear as time passes. Trimagasi says Goreng is doing well because he only has 1 month left, but Imogiri reminds him that change is never spontaneous. This prompts Goreng to devise a strategy and approaches Baharat for help. They should jump on the platform with whatever weapon they can find, and ensure that food is rationed so that everyone can eat. Baharat agrees to work together, and they break a bed to use its metal pieces as weapons. They both jump onto the platform and proceed to level 7, where Goreng points out they shouldn't allow the prisoners to grab anything. These people ate yesterday and will eat again tomorrow, so they should only start handing out food after level 50, which is where the trouble is. The pair continues to descend while threatening people to leave the food. After a few more floors, Baharat is surprised to see Brambang, an old wise man whom he respects. Brambang supports the boys' efforts, but points out that the administration lacks a conscience and will not care if they succeed, whereas the workers on level 0 will, so they need a symbol. Baharat and Goreng choose the panna cotta because it's a very luxurious dish that will make quite an impression if it arrives untouched to the bottom. The mission continues as they continue to descend, protecting the panna cotta while keeping people at a distance from threats. When they reach level 50, Baharat and Goreng start handing out rations of food and people are extremely grateful. On one floor, they find 2 men attacking Miharu. Baharat gets his guy first, then assists Goreng in killing the big man, but it's too late for Miharu, who is already dead. Despite the fact that many floors only have dead bodies, the 2 of them keep going down, handing out food to the prisoners they see. The platform eventually comes to a halt at level 333, which appears to be the final one. They initially believe it is empty, but there is someone hiding under the bed. It's Molly, the missing child. Baharat and Goreng approach the child, and as soon as they step off the platform, it starts descending again. Goreng requests that Bharat throw the panna cotta into the hole, but Bharat declines. To their surprise, the room does not become hot or cold to punish them, and after much deliberation, Bharat gives Molly the panna cotta. When Goreng awakens, he discovers that Bharat died as a result of his bleeding injuries. The next time the platform arrives, Goreng brings Molly with him, and they are lowered into a completely dark and empty floor. Trimagasi appears to tell Goreng to leave the platform because he isn't part of the message, and they both watch the platform rise with Molly, hoping that she will show the abusers above the reality of the situation. So this was the story of the film The Platform, released in 2019. If you liked the story, then do watch the full film, and if you want to watch more such amazing recaps, then do subscribe to our channel. See you in the next recap.